internet, and welcome to my drag room. This is another episode of What the Fuck Makeup, where I get into drag while talking about shit that makes me go, what the fuck? So, today I have a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna be getting into Daddy Satan X Legolas, because tonight is a Halloween party that is Lord of the Rings themed, so I figure why not mash up my drag king character with a hot elf. We'll see what happens. Let's get into the makeup. First agenda item is this weird ass email I got from SSA, aka the Social Security Administration, and it was like praising President Trump, saying how good the big beautiful bill is gonna be for senior citizens and for their retirement. And I just thought it was so creepy because, like, for one, no SSA or SSDI email, like, rarely ever gets sent out anyway. Like, they're barely doing their jobs as it is, providing for the taxpayers. But the one time they want to send you an email is to tout how great this fuck-ass bill is and praising the felon that's in the White House. Okay, tell me we're in fascist times without telling me we're in fascist times. I thought that was incredibly creepy and not helpful, and also, like, it's very much geared to an older audience. And I just feel bad because they're being preyed upon and treated like they're stupid, because a lot of them don't know a lot about their rights and what is getting taken away with the big beautiful bill. And so it's just sad to see, like, actual propaganda being shoved down our throats through our email by the federal government. What an insane time that we live in. Another reason not to check your email. Today I'm gonna try to do my eyebrows slit the opposite direction. I've been seeing, like, hot dudes on TikTok do theirs the opposite way, and I've been doing my, like, trademark eyebrow slit the opposite direction for, like, 3 years. So I want to see what the different way looks like, and hopefully it'll be hotter, because that's all we do here is get hotter and educated. This is how I do my eyebrows and the eyebrow slit. I usually map out the outline of where I want it to be, and then I'll take, like, a tissue or something and wrap up some tweezers in it and then mark off where I want the slit to be. It looks cool so far. I don't think I angled it quite enough. So even though I do like it, I want it to be, like, a pretty drastic change so I can see if I want to change the direction permanently for my look. So let's try this again. I can sometimes, like, do this with a Q-tip. It leaves a little bit too large of a mark that I usually like, and this is just much more precise, which I like. Okay, and then from there, I will put 2 lines to section off where the slit is. Kind of like that, and then I'll fill in the rest. We'll see how this slit angle looks. Okay, I do like this angle of the eyebrow slit. I think, again, I could do it even more angled, but I need to shave off a little bit more of my eyebrows to do that. But for now, I dig it. Okay, this next one is more of a conspiracy theory that I have, and it's nothing too serious, but you know all of those bot accounts that are like, I'm 18, and then it has, like, an egg with a chick in the bio, or there's a ton of variations, but then the bio link is always like, let's have fun.com, or let's make a video, or it's obviously, like, some kind of, like, sex advertisement thing, and they always have, like, 0 or 1 follower or whatever. Anyway, they're, like, constantly watching my stories, and I block everyone that I encounter. But I have a theory that those bots are actually surveillance bots, and they, like, screen record everything that they encounter, and that everything else is just a ploy, like, to make you think that it's not that serious. I really wish that there was a setting that would make your stories visible to followers only. And I get that there's like the close friends list, but I don't want to close friends every single thing. I post funny memes, and the masses deserve to see that. So, not too long ago, the city of Tempe threatened this organization with a $1,500 fine just because they were offering unhoused people free showers. Excuse me. That's how that makes me feel. Yeah, City of Tempe, like, acts to be so forward thinking and, like, the center of technology and so great. Meanwhile, they are punishing the people who are actually doing good work there in their city. I mean, it's such a small city, and yet so evil. I can see, like, wanting to have a business permit for that or something, but there's so many different routes that you can take other than threatening to fine people who are actually doing shit for the people who are suffering in that city. That's a little crazy, but when you see the people that are on the council, it's no surprise. So yeah, y'all can keep electing Democrats thinking they're gonna do something, but they're just cops themselves, so what are you gonna do? Be a communist. Are you converted yet? Yeah, that's not the only fuck shit City of Tempe was doing. So the City of Tempe also passed an ordinance that any gatherings of 30 people or more require at least a 60-day advanced permit, which they rescinded 2 months later, of $150 minimum cost, which is like, it also said public or private, so it's like, hey, are churches having this permit done in the city of Tempe every time that they have mass? Of course not. That's just strange. Like, your government saying how many people can gather in one place? What about your right to peaceful protest? What about just gathering with your local neighbors? What about just like a bunch of people meeting for fun in a park? No, no, no! Government says no! And we must listen to the government and pay to be in community. The fuck? Basically, they just don't want people doing mutual aid in the parks. Of course, because it's the government. The American government. Not that many other governments are better, but of other first world countries, we're the worst. So yeah, we love the freedom in America, don't we? As long as it's under 30 people. We love that. Love it. This one is pretty sad, but the Monarch Butterfly population has been decimated by over 90%. And it's predominantly due to human interference, of course. Things such as like deforestation, pesticides, loss of habitat. It's pretty fucked up. The amount the world is changing just in my lifetime, like, I'm only 30, and things are so different than when I was a kid. Back in my day! But literally, like, both of my grandparents were from small towns in Arizona, and they were both 3-hour drives from the city. And every time you would have to wash your windshield when you got at one end of the road trip because there were so many bugs on the windshield that it became a hazard to fucking drive. Now, I can drive for as many hours as I want and not wash my windshield if I don't want to because there's barely anything. That alone is so depressing. Like, I miss having that problem. For one, I love bugs, but also, like, the world is dying. And also, speaking of those small towns and bugs, one time I was visiting my grandma, and she lived in a very small town over by Yuma. It's like so small, it was only 3 streets long. You would never heard of it. But, I had the privilege one Easter when I was a kid of this area being in the path of Monarch Butterfly migration route to Mexico. If you don't know, they migrate to Mexico to breed, and it's like a super beautiful experience that is on my bucket list, but I don't know if I'll ever get to it before it ceases to exist. But anyway, their migration was wow, absolute wow. It was just a complete wall, a constant moving wall of so many, like thousands and thousands of butterflies. It was amazing. Like, we would just walk out into the road and stand there and just, it was so beautiful. And I had a little butterfly net. All you had to do was stand there and you'd catch like 50 butterflies. And then I would like hold it up to my chest and they would like fly around. It was really cool. Obviously that's not like super nice to do with butterflies, but I was a kid. But yeah, I will probably never see that again. A lot of people probably never will get the chance. So thanks, humans. I really hope that that can turn around. I don't know if it will with the way that things are continuing, but if you get a chance to see the butterfly migration, highly recommend, because it might cease to exist. Also, if you really like butterflies, skip the $40 tickets to Butterfly Wonderland, or at least that's what they were like 10 years ago, so they're probably even more expensive now. But you can get a free culture pass at most of your local libraries in Arizona to the Desert Botanical Garden, and on season they have a little butterfly enclosure, and you can see the ones that are like in the caterpillars that are in the cocoons, and then you get to go into an enclosure with all of the butterflies, and they say like if you wear colorful clothing they might land on you. But the free version is a lot better when you don't have to pay like $50 to look at butterflies. Obviously Butterfly Wonderland is super pretty, but it's expensive. So do the free version, support your local library, and go learn about butterflies while you have the chance. Let's talk about Disturbed. Whoa, what a turn of events. The whole thing that unraveled was that Bob Villain, a artist who was performing in the UK live on the BBC, was saying like, hey, you guys know, like, we're live on the BBC, so you gotta be careful what you say, right? And then started chanting, death, death to the IDF.
Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF!
Period. Yes. And then got the whole crowd to join in with him. So anyway, what does David, the frontman of Disturbed, have to say in reaction to this?
No one should ever use any stage at any festival anywhere in the world to incite hatred.
Like, guys, we shouldn't be using our platforms for violence. Then comes out and becomes viral a picture of David fucking signing bombs. What? Like, I felt all of Disturbed was very anti the man, like 10,000 Fists, hello, any of that? That entire fucking album was so anti the man and anti-war, but like pro-violence against violent systems. And here he is signing bombs that are gonna kill fucking children. I didn't know any of that shit, and I felt so guilty because I fucking did a Disturbed song for my Palestine fundraiser show. Yeah, that will never be happening again. I will never be doing another Disturbed number, which is so sad because a lot of my numbers, which goes the same for a lot of artists, you do shit that you loved when you were like a teenager, especially like an early teenager. Like in middle school, Disturbed was like, rock on, brother. That was the hardest shit I knew. I thought it was so cool. And here we are, going against your own fucking values. So I'm extremely disappointed, and I will not be supporting Disturbed in any way whatsoever, which is just crazy. Like, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, or whatever the fuck that saying is. Yeah, that happened to Disturbed. It just seems like money is enough to change everybody, which is so disappointing because money is fucking made up. but the people that the bombs are killing are not made up. They're real. And they're getting killed by all of our fucking tax dollars. Oh, dude. What a fucking world we live in. What I was saying about the United States being like the worst of the first world countries. Yeah, well, it's so serious that the United States got put on the Human Rights Watch list.
Great news, everyone! The United States is officially on the Human Rights Watch list! Hi, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The reason we're on the Human Rights Watch list? Well, the US is rated as narrow. That means our government says we can exercise our rights and freedoms, but our rights and freedoms are also constantly being violated. Examples? Military force on protesters, silencing and arresting journalists, ICE raids, ICE kidnapping people who are literally US citizens or here visiting on vacation, defunding PBS and NPR, and us being on a Human Rights Watch list actually makes a lot of sense because we have men like Kyle Langford running for governor of California who felt comfortable enough to post this. And I cannot stress this enough. He felt comfortable enough to post this because of the current administration. A photoshopped image of him at Auschwitz with the caption, "My 0% unemployment plan." That's not even a dog whistle. That's a fucking air raid siren. And when people were like, hey, is this a joke? Because it's not funny. He said, I wasn't joking. I think it's exactly what is needed to stabilize California. Let's be crystal clear. This isn't just extremely offensive. It's genocidal. It's a proud public endorsement of forced labor camps as governance. We are watching, in real time, the rise of white Christian nationalist fascism. And to top off all of that, did you know ICE is now forgiving student loans if you join them? Yeah, student loan forgiveness is canceled unless you're deporting families. Want to become debt-free? All you have to do is become an agent of state violence. They're offering $50,000 signing bonuses and student loan forgiveness to recruit more people to arrest immigrants under Trump's deportation agenda. The same administration who froze Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is now saying, what if we forgave student loans for ICE agents? And while all of this is happening, Trump is blowing up the Constitution with fireworks. He's signing executive orders without judicial reviews, ignoring Supreme Court rulings, and using the Marines like they're fucking mall cops. Checks and balances? Never heard of her. Freedom of speech? Not if you're a journalist. Public media? Defunded. Oh, you support Palestine? Yeah, we're detaining you. This is a full-blown fascist acceleration. And for everybody who kept saying, but this could never happen here, it is happening here. And it's not just happening here, it's happening with funding, with laws, with recruitment campaigns. And if you think this won't touch you because you're not a journalist, protester, or an immigrant, let me remind you there are people like Kyle Langford who think Auschwitz is a good jobs plan. So ask yourselves, how far away from those camp gates are you?
I don't know what really the criteria is to make us a first world country, but I don't know if we even qualify for it anymore because how could we? Like, everything that we say we stand for is non-existent. Like, safe place for queer people? Where? Freedom? Where? Right to pursuit of happiness? Where? All of us are drowning in fucking bills. How can we be happy? Like, obviously, queer joy is a form of resistance, but damn, it's getting fucking hard lately when everything is going up in price constantly. Like, my APS bill just said that it's gonna go up a guaranteed minimum of 14%. And you know this is all just to subsidize the fucking AI data plants for them to use insane amounts of energy and water. Just so people can generate the stupidest of shit. But you can't blame the consumer. It's the systems, and we are just victims of it, and there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, but you can make your choices. Anyway, yeah, so that's fucking crazy. Even my mortgage went up too. My mortgage went up $100, and it's like, oh, you think once you actually make it to be able to buy a house, like, you're set. Nah, dude. Everything's a fucking lie. Back to, like, Arizona politics. Paul Gosar, Paul go fuck yourself. he just introduced 2 bills to sell off public lands for private entities, of course, because we have to make money off of stuff that we own. When I say public lands, that is our property. Like, our tax dollars fund that shit, and it is there for all of us to enjoy. If we let this shit slide, like, it's just gonna continue until there is nowhere for us to go except for our home, our work, and then businesses to buy shit. This is so the Matrix dystopian type of a country. It's insane. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to call your local representative and say that you do not support the selling of public lands. And this shit is, like, fucked up in a multitude of ways. Like, it's also historic lands. It's also very pertinent to Native people in Arizona, of course. So there's racism tied into it as well, which, why wouldn't there be? Oh, man, I'm tired of this shit. As long as we have hope, I guess. I don't know, dude. I'm just an artist who's pissed off, so I'm trying my best. And maybe it's a little bit ridiculous to be doing my makeup while I talk about all this, but what is not ridiculous under this capitalist hellscape, honestly? And speaking of bills in Arizona, that bill that Katie Hobbs signed is now into effect. It's like the Child Protections Act or whatever. Basically, it is under the guise of protecting children. Excuse me, hold on while I concentrate. While I cut this mug. So yeah, it's under the guise of protecting children to require IDs for mature content type of websites, aka predominantly porn sites. However, as I mentioned, it's a guise. For one, if you want to have children, parent your fucking children. Don't rely on the government to do that for you. Like, if you wanted the fucking duty of bringing a human being into the world, then you need to deal with that. Not have your government pass laws that affect other people. And like, hello, I'm child-free by choice, and now I'm suffering because of your fucking kid? Ugh, yeah. So anyway, now it's required to enter your ID, but when I mentioned it's a guise, it's also going to be used as keeping a database for what people watch. Like, the more and more fascist this state becomes, the more dangerous it is to even just be online existing as a queer person, because now they can keep databases of who is consuming what. So if you're consuming kink, if you're consuming queer stuff, they're just gonna keep databases of that. And by the way, I super recommend the book John Willie, A Bizarre Life, because there are a lot of parallels into our current timeline. John Willie was a fetish artist and a creator in the 20s and onto the 60s, but literally in the times when it was illegal to be anything other than straight and vanilla. So, in the times where you could be imprisoned or institutionalized for being into kink, those times are pretty much coming around again. It's very depressing because here again, we've been sold the lie of freedom, and yet, where is it? Is freedom in the room with us? So, yeah, if you haven't noticed, which you probably have, Pornhub has decided to just full-blown stop services to Arizona. Now all those people are going to other sites for their porn. You can't even access OnlyFans without putting your ID in it. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy here in the land of the free, I'd say. And speaking of laws and bills, the Trump's big beautiful bullshit, yeah, that has increased ICE budget from $3.5 billion to $48.5 billion. That's fucking insane. Like, literally, just pay to house people, dude. why the fuck do we even say, like, give us your poor, your hurdled masses? If you don't want any of that, why do we call ourselves the fucking melting pot of the world if we don't want any of that? Like, oh my god, they're fucking saying the quiet parts out loud. The ice shit gets to me so hard, dude. Like, I'm biracial, and it's just very weird navigating the world in, like, a half space. Like, I'm half white, half Mexican. Neither of them seem to really, like, accept me. Obviously, there are the outliers that do, but it's just interesting navigating life as a biracial person. I have come to love it because I feel like it gives me a very unique perspective on seeing things from both sides, and also from a completely different perspective of being biracial. Which totally reminds me, there used to be a really good art exhibit here called Both, Neither, and All of the Above, and it was about being biracial, and that title literally explains everything. You are both of the races, however you are neither, because you're not one or the other, but at the same time you are all of the above. It's a weird place to be, but I see it as a blessing because it gives me the opportunity to see things from different perspectives, and it's just a very unique thing, I guess. But still, my dad is pretty brown, and we live in a very conservative small area, so I'm afraid that he'll get disappeared one day. And speaking of, if you're like, how come I don't see ICE vehicles in my area, or like ICE is so problematic but I don't actually see ICE themselves, well, there's a program in Arizona where different jurisdictions or organizations can sign up to act as ICE. So all of Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, ICE. All of the city of Mesa police officers, ICE. Yeah, so that's why you don't see them around. If you needed another reason to fucking not trust the police, there's another. I mean, how long is the list by now? Yeah, the ICE shit gets to me so hard that I had a dream that my family and I were kidnapped by them and were taken to a detention center, and were forcing us to have Catholic Mass, and they didn't take our phones away. So when it was my turn to go receive communion, I was like, oh, I got this. I started filming it, and the priest gives it to me, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And I take it in my mouth, I chew it up, and I spit it in the priest's face, and I was like, fuck you, you fucking colonizer. And I thought it was hilarious and so good that I caught it on video. And then I go to check the video after the fact and saw that they had like some kind of like phone blocker thing to where, like, yeah, you still have your phones, but it blocked any applications from being able to work. Yeah, so that's how ICE is affecting me. Not to mention people being disappeared in real life. What a time. But even with all that shit going, I still have hope. If you haven't seen, there's been reports of gangs in LA standing up against ICE, which I thought was pretty fucking badass. And also made me think of an idea that I've had for a very long time, which is, hey gangs, can we like put our territorial shit aside, even just until something happens? But put it all aside, let's all band together, and y'all are obviously organized, you're obviously intelligent. If the police can like never stop y'all, which is another thing, they purposely do not stop gang activities so that way they can have reasons to continually increase their budget and buy ridiculous things that local police agencies do not need. Yeah, they're just private military organizations basically. But back to my point, gangs band together, and then we have instant, intelligent, organized, armed resistance. Y'all can be the vanguard of the revolution. Easy, easy. Like, literally, I think that they want us to have these territorial fights. They want us to act out against each other because the more we're focusing on each other instead of them, the more they can get away with. We need class consciousness and realize that all of us are the same and it's us against the top. And police are only the militarized defenders of the top. That's all that they are. We could do this. We can do this. General strike? Check out that website. I'm ready for a change. So, gangs, let's go. And let's get into your favorite news segment, I'm sure. It's one of my favorite news segments. Tinder X. So, actually, I kind of have a funny story about Tinder. I just got banned. Yeah, they said that I was soliciting for money. I've never done that before. I'm not interested in that. Like, I can survive as I am. I'm totally paycheck to paycheck, but I don't need that shit. I use Tinder to hook up just like anybody else. And it super sucked because it happened on a day that I was supposed to meet someone, and unfortunately, I don't give out my number, like, hardly ever. And even though we had, like, met up a couple of times, we still didn't exchange numbers. And we were supposed to meet up that day. I miss him! But yeah, so that sucked, and I'm, like, trying to go through the appeal process, but all of it's, like, done by AI, and it's so slow. And Field is fine. I haven't had, like, super bad interactions off of there. It's just that there's not a lot of people on there. And Tinder, there's, like, a million people on there, so kinda sucks. Actually, speaking of Field, I just got catfish for the first time the other day, and that was, like, fucking terrifying. But my PSA to people is meet these people off the internet for the first time in public, even if it's just for a hookup and, like, you don't want to get drinks or anything. Meet them at a gas station, dude. Meet them somewhere with cameras. Like, it is too weird to just be, like, showing up at people's houses or having them show up at your place. No, no, no. I want you to be safe out there. And speaking of being safe, you can get, if you're in Arizona, free condoms delivered to your door. You don't even have to pay for shipping from nicepackage.org. I've done it. You can even get name brand Trojan. I can't remember what the big ones are called that are in the gold package. But yeah, you can get literally those for free. It's amazing. But back to Tinder X. Which I guess I won't be having any for a while. But I still have the ones that I've experienced. So if you have no face pics, or how are all of these so similar? Like, guys are so similar. It's interesting. Why are there so many profiles that just have pictures of, like, a carpet or, like, the ceiling, and that's it? Like, how does everybody have that idea? So weird. Also, why? That's so creepy. I think it's very, very creepy. Also, if your bio just says, ask me. Dude, like, I will treat you like a pretty princess, but you have to give me something to go off of. Like...
What?
Like, I want to know, like, are you a Trump supporter? Or you need to give me something that tells me whether or not you're somebody I need to avoid. And if you put ask me, that is one of the things I avoid. Like, just tell me you're gonna give zero effort and be absolutely no fun, dude. That is what is gonna do it for me. Another one is if, like, all of their pictures are just mean mugging. Like, yeah, mean mugging is a look, but if you're, like, trying to meet up, are you trying to scare me? Like, do you want us to be scared of you? I don't understand what that is. It's like you're trying to impress your bros, but then it says you're straight on your profile. I don't know, dude. What do you think women are feeling when all of your pictures are Like, I don't get it. Or if all of your pictures are from like the BJ pose, you know, like the camera's down here and you're like looking at the camera. For one, it's not a hot angle. For two, it's like almost a nude but not. And I'm a hoe, but I hate nudes, dude. And that's basically just like a PG nude to me. So please stop hitting that pose. It's gross. Like, what, you want us to think of what you're gonna look like when you're receiving a BJ? It's just weird, dude. Why do so many of you do it? How? Ugh. Also, this one probably goes without saying, but uniforms? Yeah, pretty much any kind of uniform. Military or police? Hell no. The only uniforms that I will kind of stand, maybe firefighters or like a nurse. Like, anything else you think you're flexing? What? No. How about no? Another one that's like totally a red flag is like, you know, the options that you can choose of what you're looking for, and then they select friends. Ain't no way you're looking for a friend. That just tells me that you're like trying to trick a girl into something. Like, we know what we're here for. Don't be weird and like try to coerce people out of it. Strange behavior. Stop it. Another one is like cigar pics. I think dudes think it goes real hard, but I think cigars are just meant to like impress other guys. Straight guys. But it's always like with the same face, like they think they look so cool, and I'm sorry to tell you, it does not look that cool. And then last one for today's session of Tinder Icks. IDK why I'm here. Yeah, you do. And so do I. Get over yourself, bro. Like, you're trying to make it seem super nonchalant, but what it's giving is zero effort and you treat all women like shit. Bye-bye. Speaking of dating apps, I've been like feeling meh about Grindr lately. Like, a majority of the people on there are not hot, and it's kind of just annoying. It's just become a chore to have to deal with people. Like, I'm just trying to get a hookup, dude. Why do people make it so fucking complicated? But Grindr, just like every other motherfucking company, has announced a cool new AI feature. And it's so cool, we're calling it Gay Eye. Wow, innovative. We love that. Why does Grindr need Gay Eye? Why? It's literally fucking just data mining, of course, because they're like, oh, we're using your information to train our Gay Eye. I am so sick of every single company coming out with AI features, and they're all shit that's not helpful, not productive, not needed. It's ridiculous. I'm so sick of AI, dude. So sick of it. But Grindr? Why? What do you need that for? Alright, the mug's coming together, almost done. This is one of my makeup tips. If you're putting if you're putting on highlighter, put a little bit of setting spray first, and then put your highlighter. And if you really want to pack it, you can use your finger. I don't like glitter, but I do love me some banging highlighter. So, after you put the highlighter on top of the setting spray, you of course will set again to really lock that shit in. And you don't want this shit flying around towards your eyes, so it's good to have it locked down. And then I'll do one final setting spray at the very end of everything. But back to our good news section. There's this man named Tabo, and he has created a method of using food waste to create biogas for clean energy. And if the mainstream world would stop being in the pocket of big oil, this could be an amazing thing. Like, if the whole world implemented this, absolutely gorgeous. Because not only is it clean energy, but it's like literally food scraps, and then after he processes the food scraps to create the biofuel, it leaves a very nutrient-dense fertilizer, which then can be used to create very good crops. So literally, it is a full circle win. But you know, with big oil, that man's life is probably just in danger instead. But I thought it was worth sharing. I hate lashes so much. They're so uncomfortable, but they really do pull a look together, so it is a non-negotiable. Not that any part of the makeup process feels good. It fucking feels disgusting. Like, would you smear a cake and frosting all over your face? No. But would you if it made you look hot? Okay. My other piece of good news for the day is a resource share. There's this group called the Phoenix Dream Boutique, and they share free clothing to exclusively trans people. So if you need more gender-affirming clothing, you can get a free closet from the Phoenix Dream Boutique. It is run by the Trans Spectrum of Arizona, so go check out those groups, get you some free clothes. Alright, and this is my final makeup look. Did it make you say what the fuck? Or did what I have to say make you say what the fuck? Cause damn! Yeah, life is crazy, but tonight I am going to a Halloween party that is Lord of the Rings themed. So I'm gonna be doing If Daddy Satan and Legolas Had a Hot Son. Do you think I should do some silver fangs? Like, yeah, what if the elf in that universe went to the orcs and got some fucking fangrills? Like, hell yeah, brother. Anyway, I know life is fucking crazy. That's why I got my dogs and my cats to keep me sane. Got the queer community. And it's hard keeping up to date with how shit everything is. But being able to share it with you, of course, while doing my art, and just be in community with other people who are suffering. It does mean a lot, so thank you for listening if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. If you have something to share it with me, even if it's just your grief, because we're all in this together. Even the people on the right, we're all victims of this oppressive system, this white imperialist capitalist hellscape system. It's a lot. But I think the more class conscious we can become, the more towards the revolution we will also become. And then maybe eventually true freedom, because we're not even living naturally like human beings. Anyway, to the revolution, folks. Bye! Bitch, I am never going blonde.